Hello, everyone. We are live. I'm here with Josh.
Hey, Alex, man, I appreciate you having me. I'm excited to be on.
Excited to have you on, man. So, first thing, oh my God. First thing I wanted to ask you, because this is something that interests me so much. Do you know what aphantasia is first?
No.
So, when you're reading, do you have like a rolling movie in your head?
Oh, yes.
You see, that's interesting. I don't.
You okay. All right, that's weird. Okay, so if I tell you to picture an apple right now in your head, do you
Yeah, no.
picture an apple or do you have like a premise of like a drawing outline of an apple?
No, I know the idea of an apple. Like I know what an apple should like look like. It's like if I wanted to look up a picture of an elephant with a cool pose, but the picture's just never going to load. I know what it should look like, but
Huh.
it's not loading.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. See, when you just said elephant with a cool pose, literally in my mind, I thought of an elephant balancing on a one of those big balls, holding
Huh?
up a hula hoop, is what I just pictured in my head when you said elephant with a cool pose. Now, it's not in color in my head. It's closer to like gray-ish
Hmm.
tone. But yeah, I see a picture in my head.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
Which I think
crazy.
is such an interesting thing because I've just been going around at like it's my favorite thing to ask because it's like, so do you picture it? Do you not picture it?
So that's intriguing. So, because when I read a book, I can kind of get a premise. Now, I might not get facial, exact what they see facially if they don't describe it very well, but I kind of have an idea of this is a person, here's where they are, they're walking down the street and they're doing their thing. So, when you're reading a book, what do you see anything in your head, or is it just I'm comprehending the words and then I'm like, oh, this is cool, and then you keep going? You don't actually see the battle in your head?
Yeah, no. So
Wow.
I see the words and yeah, I don't even have distinct character voices. It's really I'm going through this is who's speaking here and I can figure it out by the way the words are phrased and the way the character is supposed to speak. So I actually thought this was interesting. A while back, I was given a test and on it was figure out who said this line of dialogue. And everybody said it was the toughest thing on there. And I'm like, no, that was easy for me. I was able to figure out, okay, yeah, that way of speech is for that character. And because the way I identify things is the way the words are phrased, or just it's just the factual parts of it. It
Hmm.
is the plot or things like that. But when it comes down to what's it called? Imagining a scene, I can't do that. Even though the best authors are able to get like one or two scenes out of me. For example, Robin Hobb's Ship of Magic, which you'll probably see back there. And there's like one scene at the very start that I can imagine in my head. And there's like one scene in every Wars of Light and Shadow book that I can picture very vividly, which is impressive for me.
That is very interesting. That's very cool. Isn't it crazy how people's minds work?
Yes, it's so
It's just
interesting.
like awesome. It's awesome to go through and just like hyper focus on just how people interpret things. It's very interesting because what honestly we could pull any random person on with us and say something and everyone's going to interpret it a little bit different even though it's the same sentence.
Exactly. Have you read Sun Eater?
No, so I'm actually reading that next month for a buddy read with Rowdy Player One. Mark, how's it going, buddy?
But sorry, who are you reading with?
Rowdy Player One.
Hmm,
Yeah,
never heard
so
of him.
yeah, he's a good, awesome guy. Awesome guy. I think he's been on BookTube for almost 6, 7 months. I think he's been on a few months before I started. So I've been on since October. So I think his was midsummer of last year. So me and him are doing a buddy read on Sun Eater. Neither of us has read it, and we keep hearing good things. So I got the first 3 books. I got the first 3. So I'm
Oh, man.
hoping I'm gonna like them. I'm hoping I'm gonna like them. But so next month I'm reading Sun Eater, and then the following month I'm gonna read Janie Wirtz. I got her books just came in yesterday, so I'm gonna be switching off every other month between Sun Eater and Janie, just because you and everyone else keeps talking about how mind blowing it is. And then knowing that you don't picture anything in your head and you still like, this is the best thing in the whole world. I have to jump in. I have to.
It's just phenomenal. And you are, yes, by the way, Sun Eater is phenomenal. It is. So I'm going to say top 2 right now, but right now, book 6 of Wars of Light and Shadow is pushing it. It's knocking on that door saying, hello, I want in. And like I'm Wars of Light and Shadow might become number 2.
Wow. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to jump into it, man. I'm super excited. So I have a random question for you because I watched your video about, or half of your video of The Way of Edan, which is on my list.
Okay.
I need to read it. But you said something in that video I found very interesting. You, for some reason, have a hate towards elves, and I want to know why. What book ruined you? So you said Tolkien and The Way of Edan are the only 2 elves you like. Everyone else is just a carbon copy cutout, cookie cutter cutout of Tolkien.
Yeah.
I want to know who ruined you, man. What's wrong with elves?
I just think that it's boring. Like it's what they live long lives and they have pointy ears and almost everything. I'm sorry, that's boring. Unless it's like you're gonna do something with the long life thing. Free Ren, if you've ever watched or read that manga, fantastic by the way. But I can't stand the same thing. It's that same idea of they've got pointy ears and they live long lives, but there's no rich history as to why there are elves or they're. It feels like, oh, I like D&D. I'm gonna grab elves, and I don't like D&D. I should be clear.
All right. Follow-up question: have you read any Michael J. Sullivan?
Is he? I think I have him up there. Nope, that's Michael R. Miller.
Michael J. Sullivan. So there are elves in this, and they are, even though they live forever, they're elves, pointy ears, same thing, but they are the bottom of the totem pole of society. So it's a different way of looking at it because, elves everywhere else is like, oh, they've been around forever. They're the smartest people in the room. This is the complete opposite. They are the homeless people. They are beggars. People treat them like garbage. And that's what they are in this. So it's a different twist. You might actually like the elves in this one. But this is a fantastic buddy like a buddy book about two rogues that do fantastical stealing stuff. So you might enjoy this if you want a different elves idea.
I definitely will check it. It's been on my TBR for a while, but probably won't get to it for a good bit.
It's easy read too. So even though it looks thick, that's 2 books in one. So
really?
So it's an easy read. It's not I guarantee I've not read Way of Edan, but I guarantee it's not even close to how amazing Way of Edan is. But the story's good, and it's a very good quick read. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Way of Edan does make you slow down. It made me slow down. Even though I didn't want to.
I really want to get to it, and then I'm just thinking about doing listen to audiobook with it as I'm reading it some and then do an audiobook when I'm driving around just to get that immersive experience. But I just haven't it's a thick book, and I just got done reading The Forgotten Moon, and that book was a lot. It was fun, but it took a lot out of me. This is a big old book. So that like this month I'm cutting back. I'm just doing less than 300-page books and just doing that for this month.
So what qualifies as a big book for you?
800-900 pages.
Okay. You think it's only 500 pages, 400 or 500 pages.
What is?
Wave it down.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well
Yeah.
then, I thought it was bigger than that.
No.
Oh, see, I there we go. All right. Well, I guess it's getting pushed up on my list then.
Yes. Come to the dark side.
Come to the Dan side. I hear you. I hear.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to go through and get through it. I bought the first 2 ebooks of it, so I need to get to buy the third one after I read the first 2. But I'm assuming I'm going to love it, and then I'm going to have to go through and buy it.
Oh yeah. And recently, I just want to say real quick, shout out for Philip Chase. Congrats, because he just sold out on these special editions,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that's awesome. But I've actually never heard of Elizabeth Wheatley. Have you?
No, I'm looking them up now.
But yeah, I bought all 3 of the Dan ebooks when they went on sale for $1 each, and I was like, okay, that I can't pass up on that.
Elizabeth's a booktuber, isn't she? I've seen her before. She looks very familiar. Like I've seen her like shorts and stuff.
Really? Hold
Yeah.
on.
Okay. Mark said, yeah, that's her. So yes, I've not read her stuff, but I know who you're talking about. Her skits that she does on the shorts that pop up on YouTube are quite comical.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen her shorts before at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I have not read any of her works, though I think again, I could be wrong. I think I've seen her advertising her stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, I need to start catching up more on reading indie published books. Like I've read a good bit, but I'm still behind. There's so many good ones that people go through and talk about. It's just
I know.
never ending, man.
The problem is for me, I have like the Giant series still left, so I've gone through Realm of the Elderlings and I'm caught up to Sun Eater. I am gonna have to start Wheel of Time from book 2. I'm not rereading book 1. I don't want to do that. And Malazan, I'm gonna start very soon. So after I'm done with Wars of Light and Shadow, and then what else? First Law, I'm caught up on. No, that's not true. I'm not caught up on First Law. Chris will freaking crucify me, but I haven't read the standalones.
You're missing out, man. The standalones are one of the best. They're so
Really?
good. They're so good. I just finished them last year. They were good. They were good stuff. And then so I've not read Malazan. I tried twice. I've DNF'd it twice now already, but I still own it. I blame myself for the 2 times I DNF'd it. And then I have read the first Robin Hobb book, and I think I need to make myself continue. I wasn't a huge fan of the first one.
That hurts.
I know, it's disappointing. I try to keep that to myself because everyone loves it, and I'm like, maybe it's me. Maybe I need to go back and read book 1. But there was a lot of, can I spoil a part of it? Can I spoil? Is that okay?
What?
There was a lot of animal deaths that made me sad.
That. Yeah, no, yeah, people talk about that all the time.
Okay. That made me sad. And I think that's kind of pushed me away from continuing. So I don't know if the whole you can tell me. You can tell me. Was that just the book 1 thing, or is that a continuation of
animal deaths is more like more animal death happens in book 1 than in the rest of the series.
Yes. Okay. Then I will read book 1 again and then continue, because I hear nothing but great things from everybody. They're like, it's so good. And I'm like, am I the only one that's bothered by all the dogs dying? It's just me.
I mean, if you want a pal, and if you just hate it, then if you want a pal to hate talk about that, go to Vera. She has driven me up the wall on the fact that she hates Farseer, and it hurts my soul. But if you don't like Farseer, I do recommend still trying Live Ship Traders, just
Okay.
because they're so different. And I mean, I love.
Is it based in the same universe kind of thing?
They're in the same world, and for the most part, what happens in Live Ship ends up affecting later down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But for the first two trilogies can be read as standalones, and Live Ship kind of spoils something that happens in in the Farseer trilogy, but if you aren't paying close attention, you probably won't catch it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I think I'll jump into that series first. Fall in love with her writing style, and then maybe the dog killing won't bother me as much the second go around. But we'll see.
Believe me, it will hurt you regardless. No matter what, she is going to take a bludgeon to your head and go, goodbye.
Yeah, that's I enjoy that. I enjoy authors destroying my soul. I really, really enjoy it. Of like, you are in love with this, now I'm going to destroy you. That seems fun. That's fun. I love
it. Have you read The Bound and the Broken?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You caught up?
Am I? No, I read book 1.
Oh,
I've only read book 1. Have I only? Was it only book 1? Let me bring up my handy dandy spreadsheet. I'll tell you. If so, it doesn't seem like I enjoyed book 2 if I read it, because I don't remember. But I do remember reading book 1.
I know that. Yeah, huh?
I do.
Because
it was
there's no way
2020.
you remember.
It was a while ago.
Because if you remember reading book 1, liked it, and then went to book 2 and liked it less, I can't believe that's possible. Because I don't think I have ever seen somebody go.
I've only read book 1.
Okay.
And I don't know, and explain to you, I don't know why I didn't continue. When I read it in May of 2023, I rated it a 9 out of 10. I rated it almost perfect, and I didn't continue. I don't know. I don't know why I never continued it. I don't know why I didn't. Like, I literally put, would I read this again? And I put a big yes.
You're kidding me.
So, yes.
Each book gets better.
It only gets better.
Yes, and Of War and Ruin is probably one of my favorite books, and oh my god.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know why. I don't know what was I reading in May. There had to have been another series that I read in May of 2023 that I had to continue, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea, man. That's weird. But I don't know. I'll add that to my list to make sure I go back to that. But it's been a while. I need to read book. I remember loving it. And then I guess I really loved it. So yeah, I need to reread Bound and Broken. Cool.
Oh yeah, no, that's especially a good time because book 4 is coming out at the end of this month.
Oh, sweet.
You will have a lot to feast on because the books also, not only do they get better, but they also get longer.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see. There's so many thick books I need to go through and read. There's one series that I had to drop. Okay? Sanderson. What's your thoughts on Sanderson?
Okay, so Sanderson, I'm all over the place, but mostly I love his works.
Mm-hmm.
I loved Stormlight. Mistborn Era 1, I really liked. Mistborn Era 2, I, for the most part, didn't like. The last book I really enjoyed. For Warbreaker, absolutely one of his best works. And then Trust of the Emerald Sea and Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, very whimsical and absolutely adored those. I mean, one of those books, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, is my mom's favorite book,
Mhm.
period. And what else? I've read, I mean, considering I have this, I like Stormlight a lot.
Nice.
Um, what else has he made? Oh, and Sunlit Man I quite liked. Wasn't my favorite though.
That was not my favorite. The Emperor's Soul. I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
I did not like Stormlight Archive.
Really?
I read the first one. I thought it was good. I had to DNF the second one, and that's supposed to be the best one, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, no, if you're not taking
So, and
words,
that's why I dropped it. I was like, if I'm not liking the best book of the series, I probably just need to stop. So I stopped. Again, I'm a mood reader, so 100% it could have been me, but I might go back to it eventually. But every other Brandon Sanderson book, I've enjoyed it a lot, or I've loved it, and except Stormlight Archive. I feel like it's it's long. It's
that's
long.
I love it was my first like epic fantasy, and I
Mhm.
loved it. But Mark, that is honestly, I can't blame you. That's a good
Mhm.
choice because, especially if you want to try and get into here,
Mhm.
Mistborn, it's a fairly good starting place if you want
Mhm.
to have a starters trilogy. But Stormlight, I would say, is definitely like starters big epic fantasy.
Mhm. Yeah, I started with Mistborn Era 1. Was my first Sanderson book that I read. Loved it. And then I just been binging through every other one. And then I was like, all right, it's time for some Stormlight Archive. Got through book 1. I was like, okay, I kind of get it. And then I'm done. I think I'm done for a little while. Think I'm done with Sanderson for a little bit. I just need a break. He puts out so much stuff, and I feel like I was binging every single book he was putting out.
Oh, I
Back to
binged his entire work in I think 3 4 months. No, 5 months.
You're a machine. Okay. I was doing it since 2020 was when I read Mistborn Era
Oh.
1. It was
So
2020.
what I did was I read The Way of Kings back in September of 2022, I think. It was my favorite series. Stormlight became my favorite series for a little while. And then going on, I think, till February or March of 2023, I kept reading his stuff. And then in March, I finished the last book. I caught up.
Wow. So there was a lot of hate for his most recent Stormlight Archive. Obviously, didn't read it, so I don't know from personal opinions, but I've heard like this is the best book ever or this is the worst book in his catalog. What do you think of it?
Wind and Truth. Would I say it's his worst book in the catalog? No, but it definitely isn't his best work. I think it was definitely bloated. Dialogue got worse than normal. Something was. I feel like something definitely was weird, but I did quite. Towards the end, I loved it. In the middle-ish sections, I had a little bit of problems. I
Mhm.
didn't love it nearly as much as I loved books 1 through 4.
So, do you think it is because he arguably
Mhm.
one of the most popular fantasy authors writing right now? Do you think it's because no one wants to tell him no? Or oh, that's a bad idea?
Ah, I want to say yes, but I feel like people would tell him no.
Mhm.
I feel like that'd be crazy not to. But I feel like it's probably no, yeah, that's probably it. People not willing to go through it and go, "Hey, I think you need to tweak this. You really
Mhm.
need to chop down because I think he should have trimmed it. He definitely could have."
Yeah. And that's the everything I was hearing from the reviews. It was like, man, you could have cut out so much out of that book, and it was just it was the fat wasn't cut off of it. It was like he went through it and
Yeah.
was like, I'm going to make this as big as possible. This is what I want to do. And it was like, no one was like, ugh, pump the brakes, put out another book. You can add 4 more books here. So,
Yeah. He definitely should have trimmed it just
mhm.
a good smidge, but I did really enjoy a good section of it. It is my least favorite Stormlight book, probably by a little margin, but I did really enjoy it.
Hmm. I might need to jump back, but we have what 10 years till the next one comes out, so I got time to get over
Yeah,
it.
we got until like 2031, 2032.
Yeah, we got a minute. I'm really curious. Have you read any Dan Wells? Did you read any Dan Wells books?
No, I've heard good things about Dan Wells though.
Yeah,
I know.
the I am not a serial killer. The
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the actual series. John Cleaver. That's it. John Cleaver series was actually pretty good. The first few was really good, and I was like, "Oh, this is where they're going with it." They didn't go that way. They went a different way. I thought my thought of where they should have went would have been cooler, but um, I'm curious to see what he's going to do, Cosmere horror, if that book series he's still planning on doing for the Cosmere is going to
Yeah,
happen.
I'm very excited to see what he's going to do because I know he has a book that's like a bunch of like music based or magic system, I think, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Well, we'll find out whenever he gets his stuff done, and I'm very excited to see what he does do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's think I'm glad Sanderson's bringing in different kind of people to jump in to help with doing something with the Cosmere. So it's actually his full story of his whole vision is going to come out and be
Yeah,
done. So I think that's going to be cool. But we'll see how it starts playing out once we get these newer books coming out within the next few years. So I'm excited
yeah,
for those.
and I'm very interested in seeing what's going to happen going forward because
Mm-hmm.
I've already pre-ordered Isles of the Ember Dark, which is his next secret project, and or well, because I got it with this thing, but this was such a worthwhile purchase. I love Words of Radiance,
Mm-hmm.
and even though I rated it fairly lowly in my overall ranking, I love it, and so the
It's
art
nice.
inside here is fantastic.
It's very pretty, very pretty book. I've looked at a bunch of videos and pictures online of it, so I can't imagine what it looks like in person. Um, I I wanted to one of these days. I'm going to go to Dragon Con and I'm going to pick up a few, but I'm going to wait until I'm in person to pick it up. So I'm going
Oh,
to buy.
Xander,
Yeah, I want to go one of these days. I think it'd be cool.
that would be cool. I don't know. This year was like so packed from what I heard, or like I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everyone was going, and like, oh my god,
Mm-hmm.
that's the
Yeah.
entire universe here.
Right. Well, everyone had pictures and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, look who we're bumping into." I'm like, "Man, I want to be there.
Exactly, it's the
I want to
book
hang
two
out."
multiverse meeting up. It's like Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Would have been cool. One of these days. One of these days when I'm able to disappear for a few days, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, I definitely want to go at some point. I just last year not happening. It's just too much for me
But
to fit that into the schedule.
yeah.
Though I might if Christopher Rocchio does another um launch party or whatever for his
Mhm.
next book, I'll probably try to be there.
Mhm. Oh, well, that his new cover like looks so awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
It
And
like
the symbolism for it too. Once you get to like book 5 or 6, you'll understand that the pose he's in is insane because of the meaning.
awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm no, I'm su- I'm I have a feeling I'm gonna like it's gonna jump up being one of my favorite series. It's just what everyone's saying about him, and I've watched so many of his interviews where I'm like, I really like this guy. So I have
Oh
a
yeah.
feeling I'm gonna love it. But we'll see. We'll see next month.
Oh yeah. All his interviews, he's like him, Janie Wirtz, and Ryan Cahill. if I watch any of their interviews, I just get hooked. I've been watching through the Christopher Rocchio interview with Judah Ramble
Mm-hmm.
all day today, and it's so good.
Yeah. And those are cool guys too. Like I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like they can just really talk to anyone. They just seem very down to earth kind of guys.
yeah. Austin and Richard are absolutely awesome. I had the pleasure of talking to them once, and just it was a delight.
That was awesome. That's
Especially because I've been watching them since my freshman year of high school.
oh wow. That's cool. That's surreal of going through and
I
watching people
remember,
that long and then being able to have them on and talk with them.
exactly, because that was to me like I remember there was this one class where was able to have my phone out, and like whenever their videos would come out on Mondays, because they only did Mondays at the time, and I think they had just hit 5,000 subs, and I'm like, all right, get the new Rhythm of War video up and watch the whole thing because I just finished Rhythm of War,
That's cool.
and it was just insane to be able to talk to them. And so what are your top 3 favorite series at the moment? I know your number one is Song of Ice and Fire.
Okay. So this is hard because I was literally talking to Chris about this because he did his top 10 and I was busting his chops about his top 10 order. And he was like, you need to do one. And I was like, mine changes. It depends on what day of the week it is. So it, my top 3, I would have to say Song of Ice and Fire still's number 1. I think number 2 would have to be The Age of Madness by Abercrombie right now.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And then probably number 3, Red Rising. I think I would have to put number 3 right now.
Really?
And that's could change within the next 15 minutes because I would start thinking of something else. But it's yeah. So the reason Red Rising's so high, not have you read Red Rising? Have you
I have
read
not read Red Rising yet. It's up there beyond the scope of view, and it's something I want to get to. We'll see when I get to it.
It is so good. Um it is a good space opera, a lot of war, a lot of violence. But I have so much love for that series because that's what got me into reading back in 2020 when I started reading. So it was like Red Rising was the first series I read, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Why is no one talking about this in my circle of people I know? And then I went online, and I told this before, but so I was on YouTube going Red Rising reviews, and I was like, oh, there's people actually talk in front of a camera about this book. That's cool. And then I was like, what else do they talk about? And then I was like, oh, I'm going to read this book. I'm going to read this book. That's cool. And they, in the video, I can't remember who it was. It was either Mike's book review or one of the, the original OGs of BookTube. And they brought up, they were like, yeah, booked. And they said BookTube. And me being an old man, I was like, what's this BookTube thing? Is that something different from YouTube? So I went on the App Store and was looking for BookTube, couldn't find it. And so then I ended up finding out later on. I'm like, "Oh, I'm an idiot. It's a part of YouTube." So then I
Yeah,
got obsessed with BookTube and got obsessed with Goodreads, and that's where I found Petrick because it was before Petrick got on YouTube. So he was just on Goodreads, and I was reading all of his stuff. And like anytime Petrick said read a book, I was like, all right, Petrick said read this book, so got to follow whatever Petrick says. So, and that's kind of what got me into reading. So that's kind of why it's so high on my list. Not
yeah.
only is it good, but got a lot of love for it.
I've never actually seen the Petrick reviews, like as in his written reviews. I've only ever really watched his videos, and I'll see his stuff on my feed every once in a while on
Mm-hmm.
Goodreads because I don't really use Goodreads that much. It's more like a logging thing for me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I mainly use Storygraph so that I can keep all the stuff that I really want to logged, because
Mm-hmm.
Storygraph doesn't have the 500 word limit of like my journal
Mm-hmm.
entries. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How when you
Yeah.
update it, there's like that whole thing where you can enter a journal thing, but there's like 500 character maximum on Goodreads, but then on Storygraph there isn't that maximum. There's no maximum, and it's all kept to me. No one can see that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's perfect. That's what I want. And it also gives me stats, and I love Storygraph so much more.
See, when I hear people talk about Storygraph, I go, I sounds more up my alley. But I have everything on Goodreads, and I use it pretty much like you said, just to track what
Yeah,
I
you can
want to
transfer.
read, what books, and then I can hear I can transfer. I hear you, but then I have to learn a new system. I'm like, I'm good. I'm a creature of habit. I'm like, I'm used to this. This is what I use, so I use that. And then I have my fancy Excel spreadsheet that I put a little bit more details and my my statistics and stuff like that on Excel because I can just go through and like do quick tweaks. And I haven't found um, maybe Storygraph has it, but I'm very curious on why, like finding that perfect type of book, because I don't like wasting my time with DNF in a book or reading a book that I'm like, I gave this a 4 out of 10. This is bad. I'm trying
Mm.
to figure out how to cut the fat where it's like every book I pick up is exactly what I like. And that's what I use my stats for. Of like, all right, do I give higher ratings to thriller when I listen to it over when I physically read it? Or is it physical read or is it ebooks? Like I have all those statistics to go through and try to find if I read this genre, read it in this type, so then I enjoy it the best.
Hmm. Yeah, for me, it's just I don't think I have had a bad read since late 2023. And the only reason I had a bad read was because I chose a book that was controversial. I hate This Is How You Lose the Time War. I hate it with all my heart. It's so terrible to me. But beyond that, I have not had a single bad reading experience, and I have enjoyed every book that I've read because I kind of just go by my gut and I go, okay, people say good things about this book, and people say it's good things about that book, and then does the concept interest me? Then I read it and I love it. And also in general, I it's very rare for me to dislike books. Hey Molly.
I wish I had that as well. I DNF books constantly,
Really?
constantly. I get it depends on the thickness of the book, but probably I get the first 10 to 15% of a book and then I decide if I'm going to drop it or not.
Actually, you know what? I take that back. There was one book that I had to DNF, but also it was at the wrong time, so it's probably up here. There it is. It is City of Last Chances.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I have DNF'd in a long time, and the reason I DNF'd it, and Molly, I'm with you. I don't DNF. There was one reason I DNF'd this book, and that was because these came out. So the reprint of the third Realm of the Elderlings trilogy had come out, and so I nothing was stopping me from reading these things. Nothing. You'd have to bend hell on earth to stop me from reading this thing, because this was my most anticipated read in a long time, because I had read the original trilogy back in October and it was already one of my favorite series of all time, and then Live Ship made it even better. And so after 6 months of not reading anything with my boy Fitz Chivalry, I'm going back to read more Fitz Chivalry. And that was a fantastic thing. I was obsessed from moment one.
So it wasn't a true DNF. It was the best book ever came back. The best
Yeah,
book series. So it was just like get out of the way. So that I wouldn't count that. So you can keep your you don't DNF card. You can still
but
keep it.
it was that, and also I'd gotten like 50 pages in, and it wasn't gripping me because
Mhm.
it kept jumping between characters and points of view. When you do that, you lose me very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have a very fascinating world. Because Way of Kings, even though it had multiple false starts, I did love the everything because I was so hooked on the world that I'd been given.
So I got a question for you. So do you ever get into like reading slumps where you just like, oh, I'm tired of reading? Okay. So what book or series helps you get, if you go, oh, I'm having a reading slump, what are you going to pick up? Okay.
So I was in a reading slump. The last reading slump I was in was towards the end of 2024. No, not towards the end. It was June, July, April. And the reason for that was because I'd gotten busy, number one, and number two, right as soon as classes ended in May, I got my wisdom teeth removed, and then I started binge reading a good chunk of stuff. Or like I binge read the third book in the Tawny Man trilogy, so book number 9 of Realm of the Elderlings, and I binge read Curse of the Mistray, and then I binge read Of War and Ruin in 3 days. Which, let me add, that's not a short book. That's 1,000 pages.
It's crazy.
I was upset. Bound and the Broken is phenomenal. It was so good.
I have it on my list. It's starred to go through and continue. But I'm gonna do the other one first. I'm gonna do the Robin Hobb book first. Is the plan?
Hey, Britain.
Hey, it's Britain.
Do Ship of Magic. Since you said you don't want to go back to Farseer, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Yeah. Right now, I might at one point down the line if I love this series. But yes, I need to go through. I'll read that one first, and then I'll go back into the Bound of the Brook because I love the first book, and I guess I just thought that was all that was there. I guess I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I get in my moods, and I just switch things around.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was telling you the story of my reading slump, and so I was in the reading slump like August, and I tried to read To Ride Hell's Chasm. I read it. It had an impact on me, but not as much of an impact as it should have. So that's Janny Warts' standalone. It was amazing, but not as much as it should have because I was in a reading slump. And then I read Fool's Assassin because the reprint had come out, and reading slump was gone. I could read anything after that.
That's awesome. All right. I'm getting more hyped up now to go through and read this.
So, just out of curiosity, are you a parent?
Yes, I have 2 kids, 2 boys.
Okay. Yeah. Have fun with Robin Hobb. That's going to break you, man.
Great. Awesome. Dang. And that's the Ship of Madness? Is that all of them? It's going to break me?
Ship of Magic.
Magic.
Oh, yeah, of course. Welcome back, Mark. But the live stream creators, and really all her works, tend to really dive into themes of family. And they broke me.
Awesome. I'll make sure I'm in the right headspace before I jump into the series.
Yeah, it's gonna.
I'm honestly I'm fine with the book breaking me. I'm good with it. I'm good. But we'll see. I say that, but I did stop after the first one, Assassin's Apprentice, because of all the dog killing.
It'd probably just send up warning flares on the "Did the Dog Die" website. Do you know about this?
No, I've never heard. No,
there's a website. Did the dog die? That is specifically Like you look up a piece of media, and it's going to tell
Oh
you
my
if the
goodness.
dog dies in it.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah. The internet. I swear, it's like whatever you want to find.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. I did not know there was a website that the dog died. That is
Yep.
very, very intriguing. People in their time, they have so much time. They have so much time on their hands to go through and like create a full
It's
website
impressive
just on that. Oh my goodness.
to make
So
a database on. Oh, did the dog die? Great. Let me look it up here. The dog dies. I don't want to watch it.
oh man.
Exactly, Molly.
I did they Molly, I feel judged over here. I'm feeling judged. I got no comments. No comments.
Well, what's that supposed to mean?
oh man, so funny. So what are you reading right now? What are you currently going through?
So I'm reading book 6 of Wars of Light and Shadow, Peril's Gate, which is like holy crap, Janie Wirtz is knocking on that number 2 spot right now. And if it gets better and better, if this book gets better, I'm at about the halfway point, and I've been told the book gets better. If it just gets better, then this isn't just going to be knocking on number 2. It's going to be a solid number 2. And while for me, Realm of the Elderlings has a good big gap between it and Sun Eater, Molly, you did not.
100%, Molly. 100%. And know what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay. Do what you got to do.
That's mean. That's evil. That's pure evil. But while there's a good big gap between Realm of the Elderlings and Sun Eater, there might be less of a gap between Wars of Light and Shadow and Realm of the Elderlings, which is crazy for me because Realm of the Elderlings is just solidly number 1, and I don't know if it's ever going to get displaced.
Wow. I'm hyped to read those. So March, April, and May. So yeah, I'm going to start it in May. So we'll see. We'll see if I can finish any of my other books. I might just be stuck in Janie Wirtz, Christopher Rocchio binge reading for the rest of the year. So we'll see what happens.
Hey, that's not a bad thing.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. I hear they're both fantastic. So we'll see how it goes.
Brilliant. Though, as a heads up for Janie Wirtz, for your first 2 or 3 books, they're going to take a good bit of time because the prose is so dense and complex that for me, it took me a solid 3 or 4 books of just reading her stuff before I was able to solidly, like, I can go through one of her sentences and then go, okay, I understand that.
Okay. That's good to know. I got good advice also about when I read. Have you read Dresden? Have you gone through and read Dresden?
I have not read Dresden.
Okay. The best advice I heard about Dresden is get through book 3. And it gets fantastic. So if you like, if you enjoy book 1 through 3, you're golden. But if you don't, and you're like, it's okay, just keep pushing through till book 3, and it gets amazing. I thought book 1, I thought the first few were fine, but man, after book 3, it just kept going and killed it.
But so actually, since you mentioned that, if you're willing to do that, Sun Eater, if you don't like, or if you're all right on, if you're on the lower end to middling on book 1, Empire of Silence, get to book 2, get to Howling Dark. If you don't like Howling Dark, then it's just not going to be your thing.
Yeah.
Now, if you get to Howling Dark and it's still all right, keep going to Demon in White. If you don't anything more than like Demon in White, probably not going to be for you.
That's good to know. I think I'm going to enjoy it based on the premise that I know the stories about him, and I could be wrong. Again, I haven't read the book. So it could be it's about someone who did something very bad, killed a bunch of people, and it's him telling his what led up to him destroying a whole population of people. Am I right? Is that pretty much what it's about?
So this isn't a spoiler, by the way. This is page one. He committed a genocide,
Oh, nice. So he
and
didn't kill okay, genocide. That's good.
yeah, he committed genocide, and now he's talking about his story of how he came to be this war hero, how he came to have all these different names, and what happened. And of course, in order to commit that genocide, he Sun Eater.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
And so
Awesome. Yeah,
it's,
I'm hyped. I'm hyped. And then
oh,
I've seen some people talking about Daryl. Are y'all talking about Walking Dead?
I've
Yep.
actually never watched Walking Dead.
I read the comics first before the show. And comics are amazing. They're real good. Like real good. The show was good up to a point, and then it lost me, and then I jumped back into last season. But it was, it was fun. It was fun for what it was. But if you're a fan of comics, I say go for the comics.
I
It's a lot
very
more
rarely
brutal.
read comics. I have read a couple comics here and there, and I might get to them one day, but I tend to prioritize novels because
Hmm.
there's just so much in the fantasy novel space that it's insane, or just novels in general. Says you, Britain.
I feel judged. I thought Brent loved comics.
He does.
Okay. I was about to say, like, am I thinking of the wrong guy?
I know he does.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great show. It is a good show. Yeah, I wouldn't say one of my favorite shows, but it's up there. It's up there in good ones. I feel like they dragged it on too long, and that's just my opinion. See, I know I'm
but
right.
I'll probably get to The Walking Dead at some point. First,
Mhm.
I have a friend who's been yelling at me, and he will never stop until I watch Breaking Bad.
Oh, you haven't seen Breaking Bad?
I'm on episode 3, and then I took a pause.
It's one of the best. One of the best. One
Yeah,
of the
that's the
best.
thing, but I know it's gonna be so depressing. That's the part. I'm like, oh, I want to watch the 100. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take a break to talk about that. I watched the 100 a while back. That was great. Really, I know I need to watch Breaking Bad. Okay, but
I told it's one of the best shows ever, ever, ever. Period. One of the best. You need to sit and just binge it. Give yourself when you have one of your reading slumps, just go what? It's Breaking Bad time, and then just Breaking Bad your way through it, and it'll be good. I've not seen Ozark. I've not seen the 100. I've not seen any of those. I've not seen it. I've not seen them. I think I need to add them on here.
the I do have to say I heard that the guy who's making Breaking Bad is making a sci-fi alien show. That I'm super excited for.
Hmm. Sci-fi alien show.
Yeah,
Yes. 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 It's so good. The Last Kingdom. You haven't Bernard Cornwell? You haven't
that
seen?
has a show.
Yeah, it's a show.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and a movie, if I'm not mistaken. A show and a movie. Molly will tell me. It's a show and a movie. I'm pretty sure. But yes,
Really?
I have all the books here. I love them. This is my get out of a slump reading. Is I grab myself a Bernard Cornwell book, and then I'm happy as a clam reading about
Oh,
Uhtred of Bebenberg.
I may upset you. Here it is. This guy. Um, I think this guy put me in a slump.
Um, I didn't like it. I didn't like that book. So you're good.
Really?
I didn't like it. I don't like it. So you're good. There was no issue there. I read it. I was like, this is so boring. But no,
Gentlemen would hate that. I am kidding. But wow,
Last
really?
Kingdom. Read The Last Kingdom. It's so good. It's short.
Okay.
It's a very easy read. If you don't trust my judgment, just go on BookTube. Everyone's talking about they're just starting the series, but it's so good. It's so good. So much fun. So much fun.
Oh, I forgot about that. In case you're wondering what I just saw, I opened up the book because there was a weird spot in it, and I forgot that my mom had made me a bookmark.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
that's where it is. I'm actually gonna probably store that away at some point.
That's nice.
But yeah, I'll definitely have to get to Last Kingdom. I need to catch up on Severance first. Have you watched Severance?
Is that a show?
Yeah.
Yes. That's the show. Okay, let me make sure I'm remembering. That's the show where when they go to work, they forget their personal life, and then when they
Yeah.
get to personal life, they forgot work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the first season. There's another one that's out. Season 2's out.
Yeah, I think it's airing right now. I'm on episode 6 right now of season 1, and so I need to continue it. It's just I get so depressed by this stuff. I don't know why. Breaking Bad is worrying me because I want to go to Breaking Bad, but it's also like I know it's gonna be depressing.
I don't want to tell anything. I want you to go. I want you to go in Breaking Bad completely blind.
Oh, too
So
late.
you see the chaos that's going to go through and happen. I love it. The character development in that show is so well done.
Yeah, The Boys. I there was a time when I was almost on the edge going to watch it, but too much. I can handle a good lot of gore in like manga or like if it's just but when it comes to like visual gore and it's that amount, I remember there was one scene like the speedster guy.
Exactly what's going on in my head. Exactly the scene you're talking. Yes, where he just runs through that
Yes,
person. Yeah, yeah, that was the exact part that was in my head.
I can't do it. If it's that level of gore, I'm sorry, I'm gonna back off.
It was
Like
intense. It was so intense. I agree. I agree. I agree. Yep.
bad until you can't Breaking Bad anymore. Really? I didn't know there was a Breaking Bad movie.
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't up to par with the show, but it was still fun. It was still fun.
Hey, John.
See? Everyone's telling you need to watch Breaking Bad. So it's gonna
Again,
happen.
I'm like 2 episodes. Like I finished 2 episodes. I'm on episode 3, maybe 4. But
You haven't got to the fun yet. You haven't gotten to the real fun. It's good, but you haven't gotten to the fun.
oh god, that's the thing. I feel like as soon as I keep going, I'm gonna get hooked.
Oh yeah, there's no way you're not going to get hooked on it. There's no way. It just starts like it slowly starts spiraling, and then it just gets quicker and quicker and quicker until you're out of control.
Hey, Mark, I haven't either. I've read book 1 though. I have read book 1.
You've only read book 1?
I've only read book 1. Yeah.
Right.
That
Right.
that
Where it just splatted on the ground. Come on now.
yes.
It was awesome. It was so good.
I was at that scene and I go, okay. Honestly, I was hooked, but the problem is if I stop a show like that for any amount of time, like I took a day break, I'm done. Like I will fall off that hooked stuff and then I'll start wandering again and then I'll come back to it one day.
Everyone's talking about that scene, and I love it. I love it.
No, everybody is talking about.
Like, it's like, right? Jesse should have gotten the right stuff. So fun. So fun. Yeah, man. You need to sit and stop studying and just binge watch Breaking Bad.
No.
And then, you know,
The melting of the body? No, that's episode 2. End of episode 2.
mhm.
I should probably put that there. So, Britton, I think we should put you in spoiler jail because that was heinous.
Well, I read that, and I think Britt needs to go back and rewatch the season, like all of them. Just rewatch the show again. I think that's what he needs to go through and do. I need to. I'm finishing. So I just finished watching Sons of Anarchy again. Have you seen Sons of Anarchy?
No, never even heard of it.
Add that to your list. It's about a biker gang. It's really great. I just finished Sons of Anarchy. Now I'm rewatching Seinfeld. Have you seen Seinfeld?
I haven't watched Seinfeld. No.
Okay. Add that one to your list too. So Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, and then Seinfeld. So add those 3 to your list. I'll pester you in the next few years because that's going to take you a little bit to get through with all the reading and school stuff you do. So next few years, I'll pester you about it. Make sure you've watched those.
So Peaky Blinders. This is something my dad wants me to watch, and he's like, "Okay, you're going to watch Peaky Blinders with me." And that is something I need to get onto him with. I might start it.
I've only watched the first few seasons of Peaky Blinders, and I think it was end of season 3, season 4. I kind of pulled me out of it. I'm kind of like, I don't want to spoil what happens, but there's some things that happen. I'm like, I didn't like this, so I don't know. I might need to catch up.
So, Office, we're talking about like The Office, right?
Like the TV show The Office?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. John, are you talking about The Office, like the TV show?
Have you seen it?
No. Sorry, I've seen bits, and I don't. It's not my thing.
Listen. You need to watch it, and then you need to go. Yeah, I'm disappointed, man. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, no, it's the thing is, The Office is pure comedy. I don't do pure comedy.
You don't do pure comedy. Wow.
No.
Okay.
I don't know why, but if it's only comedy, I can't do it. I can't. I need something serious and grounded. Otherwise, I just can't. It's not fun for me.
Oh, man. Okay. So don't watch Seinfeld then, because that's funny. Yeah, stick with Sons of Anarchy and I guess Breaking Bad. That's disappointing. You don't like straight comedy. I have a laundry list of comedy. Like, that's what I love. I love just dumb comedy I can put on to have a good old time. I guarantee he hasn't watched Always Sunny, Britain. Guarantee it.
I haven't even heard of this, Britain. I'm being put on the freaking. I'm being crucified here.
Man.
But yeah, I honestly haven't even heard of Always Sunny.
It's straight comedy. It's about terrible people doing terrible things, and it's so good. It's so good. Love that show. But
okay. Britain's declared a jihad on me. Shit.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. One of my favorites of all times.
I will give that one a shot. I will give Always Sunny a shot. But I will give. First, I need to finish Breaking Bad, for God's sake.
Yeah, Breaking Bad. Sons of Anarchy. It should be the top 2. And then we can slowly start getting you into comedy, where then we can put on a few episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia that are top tier that you're going to love, and then we'll get you into some of these other shows.
My number 1 right now is actually, number 1 is I'm going to catch up to Severance. Then I'll go back to Breaking Bad. Then I want to watch Better Call Saul.
Okay. It was good.
Because I've heard that's fantastic as well.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Then I will watch Sons of Anarchy. And then what was the other one you said? Or no? You stopped at Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, stop with Sons of Anarchy because you like drama. And Sons of Anarchy is going to put you through the ringer. It destroys my wife every time she watches it when she gets to that scene with later end of the last few seasons. It's real good.
So have you heard of You?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What's this? I don't know.
It's a show about a stalker who loves reading books, works at a library, pretty much a book nerd guy who stalks people and ends up getting overly obsessive and then does bad things.
Oh, okay.
It's actually season 1's pretty good. I haven't seen the most recent season coming up. The last one I saw, I think, was season 3. I think there's 4 seasons. So whichever one is up to the most recent one. But it's almost done.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up on all these shows that I just haven't caught up on, because the thing was, I used to watch a ton of. I used to, like, before 2020, I watched a ton of stuff, and I was like, very no anime. Anime sucks. And then a friend of mine said, "Go watch anime," and then I watched an anime and I loved it. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, by the way, absolutely phenomenal. And then I just kind of stuck around there, and now I'm going back and I'm going, oh crap, there's so many shows I've missed. Also, The Shield. I don't know.
It's so good. It's so good. I don't
add it to the list.
I don't know if you're going to enjoy that one though.
Really?
It's older. It's an older show. So if you can get past the show feeling a little bit older, then you'll love it. But
I mean, one of my favorite movies is It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay. Then yes, we'll add The Shield to the list after Sons of Anarchy.
Dexter.
Have you seen Dexter? That's a no. Okay. You need to add that to the book list too. That book is very good. The book's good. So do the book, watch that show. Man, you are set now for the next 10 years of catching up on TV shows.
Oh man. I'll be honest, I haven't even heard of Dexter.
You haven't heard? Okay.
I live under a rock, man.
Okay. Yeah.
I thought I was coming out of the rock. I was like, oh yeah, I'm starting to know all this other stuff. And then all you people are like, here's the rock that you've been living under. I painted the sky on it. It's like, oh, look at this beautiful sky. And then somebody pops it open and says, there's the real sky.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, you're definitely missing out. Yep, The Shield is definitely underrated. Super underrated. It's very good, man. It's very good. But yeah, Breaking Bad needs to be the first one. You need to see the top tier.
Yeah, Breaking Bad is the top, especially because what's his name? God, he's that amazing actor. First, have a great dinner, Molly.
Bye, Molly.
Oh crap! I took away my the one actor. He's like Spanish, I think. Don Carlo? No. Man, he did a Far Cry villain. Do any of you know that?
Yes. You're talking about Oh man, what's his name?
Don't know his name for the life of me.
Let me look it up. I know you're talking about.
I'll let you do that, Mark. You can have at me. I'll be much more cultured then.
Giancarlo
Yeah,
Esposito. Yeah,
that guy. He's
that guy.
because I've seen him act, and he's just phenomenal. All
He
right.
he's top tier, man, and definitely on this show. Like he plays a guy named Gus Fring. He's so good,
Yes,
so
I've
good,
heard amazing things about
so
Gus,
good, so good.
or at least as a character. I don't think I've heard good
No,
things in terms of
yeah, he does
personhood.
an amazing job, and he's definitely what I really like him as an actor because he's been in a few things that I've really liked. He doesn't seem like he's playing himself in the the movie. You know what I mean? Like there's some actors who just play you like, oh, this person's playing a version of themselves.
Yeah.
Um, the first one that comes to my head is Ryan Reynolds. He plays
Mm,
Ryan Reynolds in every movie. He's just put
yeah.
on a different costume. But there's some actors who I'm like, oh, this guy's actually good. And I forget. I'm like, oh, I forgot he was in this other thing because he's this character.
Although to me, it's like Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Period. End of story. Even though I haven't watched Deadpool, I should admit that.
But Deadpool's literally Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Kind of just a douchey dude who, you know, don't get me wrong, I love Deadpool. I think he's fantastic in it, but he's like, I see him I'm like, oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think he's a good Green Lantern?
He is the best Green Lantern. Yes, he's the best.
I actually grew up. I remember watching that movie when I was very young.
It was
My
so bad.
dad's favorite superhero was the Green Lantern for a while, and I think he hated that movie. I can't remember. I'd have to ask him.
It is so bad. It is so bad. It was like I thought maybe I'll watch it again. Maybe it's not as bad. It is. It's just as bad as what you remember it being.
I think I have the DVD for Green Lantern.
Nice. Nice.
John Stewart.
John Stewart. Mm-hmm. He's one of the Green Lanterns.
Oh, one of the Green Lanterns. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Not the guy on TV. Not the comedian. That's
No,
different
yeah,
John Stewart. Different John Stewart.
John Stewart's the. I watched a Green Lantern show as a kid. It was. I remember loving it, but John Stewart, he's the. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then I know him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's good.
I never actually ended up watching just the animated Justice League. I ended up watching the Young Justice show. Then I dropped it after 2 seasons because after that it sucked.
Did I watch? Oh, the Young Justice, the live action. Is that what you're talking about?
No, the animated.
The animated. Okay. Because I didn't
I
watch
didn't
the
even know.
live. They got a live action of is it the Justice Young? Can't remember. They
Justice
had a
League.
live action. They had a live action of the Teen Titans. That's what it was. Thank you. Whoever put that in my mind.
Oh, I never watched those.
Yeah, I didn't watch that. Yeah, I've been kind of off the superhero stuff for a while since Endgame. I tried watching a few
Yeah.
things, they just been terrible. So I'm waiting for a big, amazing movie to come out that everyone's like, they're back, and then I'll jump back in. But since then, I'm just like not even paying attention to it. It's too much.
And since we were talking about Teen Titans, I just want to say I have a deep and visceral hatred of Teen Titans Go because I want to go watch the original Teen Titans show because I've heard so many amazing things about it, but it's canceled. And I'm pretty sure I heard it being left off on a cliffhanger, and it's only Teen Titans Go now, and I don't want to go watch an unfinished show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My kid liked Teen Titans Go for like a week. And then I told him it was canceled, that it's no longer on TV because I couldn't have it on the TV anymore. So
It's awful. It's so bad.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And I would rather watch anything else. Anything else. I can't. It's just not
Have
good
you
at
made
all.
him? Have you made him watch Avatar, The Last Airbender?
I haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender.
You call me uncultured.
I know that was not. I never said that. I'm adding stuff to my list.
But you got it.
I have it on here. I hear it's fantastic. I also put Full Alchemist Brotherhood. Is that what you said?
Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. That is.
So I have that on my list too because I've never seen anime at all. I've seen, I guess, if you want to count Dragon Ball Z.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So I've seen that, but I haven't seen anything else. So I have that down.
Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. So I just finished a rewatch of it, but Avatar: The Last Airbender is absolutely amazing. I just started. I started rewatching it recently because I felt like it. I got into a deep discussion about it with a friend and how much we loved the show with the new series coming out. But it's Avatar is fantastic. But back to Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, I finished a rewatch of it fairly recently, and I watched it back in 2020 for the first time, and just seeing that story that I loved before, but seeing how it applies to life was so like I almost teared up at the very end. It was so good.
So do you think I should start with that one first or Avatar?
Avatar is American. And also, I'd say watch Avatar with the kids. They're going to like it more.
Okay, so it's better to watch that one with the kids.
Yes, because first season of Avatar, I am always of the opinion it drives me insane. I can't rewatch it. It's the kid humor so forefront.
Yeah.
But then after that, it goes into these wonderful themes of growth and trying to change from who you have been conditioned to be. Or trying to become a better person that way. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing. It's fantastic. And even like propaganda too. It covers that, but it never feels like it's like dark, grim. Mm-hmm. It definitely feels like it walks that rope of we're talking about serious themes, but we're also still a kids show.
Cool. I'll add that. I added that on my list. I'll watch that one, and then I'll watch the other one when I'm done with Seinfeld. I give it a try. The Full Alchemist one. So, because I can only honestly between doing the dad stuff and reading, I only have like an hour a night to go and spend watching a show, and I have to truly love it to actually go through and spend my time. So I will give that one a try and see how I feel after the first few episodes, and we'll go from there.
Fullmetal Alchemist?
Yeah.
So, first of all, I should say, make sure you watch Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. The tagline Brotherhood is important because there were two adaptations. The first one was made a couple years before Brotherhood, and they caught up to the source material, and then they decided to go their own route. And for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, start from episode 2.
Okay. Episode 2.
Just because episode 1 is a filler episode, it may as well not exist.
But it's the first episode. How is that a filler episode? Okay, I'm gonna trust your judgment. I'm not even gonna. I'll end up I'll go back and watch it. But
yeah, do that. But it's because, or at least maybe I'm biased because that's the way I watched it. My friend said just start from episode 2, you'll get hooked, and then I got hooked.
Cool. I like it. Yeah. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 shows I need to watch on the list too. So you're not the only one. You're not the only one on here.
What's your list?
The Brotherhood, 100, Ozark, Night Agent, and Avatar. So that's what I got to watch. And then I have the
Also,
two.
I should actually ask everybody, if anybody's still here, did the 100 end well? Because I dropped it after 2, 3 seasons, I think. Because I mean, I was probably 10 or 11 when I watched the 100.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I never heard of it, so I don't know what the hundred's about. So I have it on the list to at least look at it,
I
check
think
it out.
season 3 or 4 was airing,
Hmm.
but I've probably taken up so much of your time because I'm now realizing this has gone on for an hour and 20 minutes.
Britton said thought the hunter was pretty. Oh, that's so funny. Again, I've not seen the, so I'm gonna watch the trailer and get my opinion on that one. That's so funny. Um, but yeah, man, I do got to jump to get help start putting the kids to bed.
Right.
Any other questions or anything for me before we jump?
Not from me, but thank you so much, man, for coming on. It was a blast.
Yeah,
Loved
man.
having you on.
I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. And I have a laundry list of stuff. And next time I talk with you, I will 100% have Ships of Magic at least pre-ordered coming in, and
All
then
right.
get it here, and I'll have it right there on my shelf, ready to go. And I'll
Love
add
to
it
hear
to
it,
my list.
man.
So, well, I'm excited. I'm excited to get through it. But I got all the other 15 books every time I watch. I think I just need to stop watching new videos for like 2 weeks so I can stop spending money, and then we'll go from there.
I can't blame you for that. Broken Binding is still trying to make me bankrupt.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on, and it was fun.
It's been a blast. All right.